And interesting about Shrove Tuesday in Ireland actually is that different to other European countries, in Ireland it's a family festival or something to do with families particularly, whereas in the rest of Europe Shrove Tuesday has the carnival social atmosphere, public atmosphere about it, you know.
Yes.
And there are a few elements of that found in Irish tradition, but generally in Irish tradition it's a family thing, and to do with marriages and things like that, as distinct from a big public social occasion, as in Nice or Rio de Janeiro, for example.
We
or
have
in,
the Mardi Gras and
or
so
in
on.
New Orleans or whatever,
Right,
you know.
right. I just want to go to the phone lines. We've got Ailish on the line. Good morning, Ailish.
Good morning, Fiona.
How are you?
Very well. Well, I'm not actually a bit of a cold.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So
Wrap up well.
I'm here enjoying it.
All right. Shrove Tuesday, what do you remember about it?
Oh, Shrove Tuesday, you brought me right back there. It was the magical time in our home. There was eight of us, 8 children, and of course it was all centred around the pancakes.
Yes.
And they were going to and fro from the kitchen, you know, very quickly because they had to be kept hot. And I remember my mother throwing them up in the air, and this was a great day, sort of between Christmas and Lent, you know, and
yes.
It just was a very, very happy time. And of course there was no such thing as television, if you don't mind me saying so. So it just brought back to me when you said there that do we do it anymore? Because we don't. It's sort of gone. I think the pace of life has changed.
And do you not make the pancakes and toss them now and all of that?
Do I not what?
Do you make the pancakes and toss them?
No. If I get them at all, I buy them.
You divot.
Well, I mean, the pace of life has changed, hasn't it?
Well, now that's very strange, because in my childhood we didn't have pancakes, because you can make pancakes on an open fire. And last night I made the batter. and I have it with a white cloth over it.
Ready to go tonight.
Ready to go tonight.
Where did the whole tradition, Sheila, where did the whole tradition of pancake making actually grow out of?
I think it comes from the idea that Lent was a time of fast and abstinence, and I think every day in Lent, in former times, you were expected to abstain from not only meat but milk products like butter and eggs, and eggs is kind of dairy products like that, and cheese. And the idea of using up these things before Lent would be would lead to making pancakes. And we must remember as well that for people, again, who were living on a fairly plain diet, what we would regard today as a plain diet, although it was quite nutritious and very good in lots of ways, pancakes were kind of an exotic thing. And the idea of putting sugar into them, that's a fairly recent thing, I know. Sugar and butter and flour, kind of sense of luxury about it, really.
I can imagine.
Having a last fling before Lent.
Literally a last fling. Ailish, whatever you do today, whether you go and buy them or whether you toss them, I hope you enjoy them.
Thank you.
All right, and thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
I'm glad we brought back happy memories for you. Just about this tossing of them, in fact, there's a way of fortune telling with the tossing of the pancakes. Just explain that for people in case they don't know that.
Well, Kevin Danner in his fine book The Year in Ireland has marvellous descriptions of different marriage divinations and so on. But the one relevant to the pancake tossing mostly is that the eldest unmarried daughter in the family would be given the first toss, for example, or she'd have to do the first tossing, and she'd if the pancake didn't turn around and come down on the other side flat on the pan properly, then she wouldn't be. If it didn't, she wouldn't be married in the next year. If it did, if she did properly, it would be. And then you see people would be jerking the elbow of the pancake thrower so as to make sure that
they wouldn't.
It'll come out wrong. And there was a big bias against this question of being married. I think that you see, a person could be married during Lent, but the marriage wouldn't be solemnised. I think there wouldn't be a mass and various blessings and one wouldn't be part of it. So that there was a rush to get married before Lent came, and that accounts for Máirt hInide meaning initio, beginning of Lent, you see, and Shrove, of course, meaning striving, going to confession before Lent. But this thing about being married before Lent, there was a big stress there from the very last day before Lent, to Shrove Tuesday, and that was then the final chance to get married. And if a person didn't get married on this day and was of age to be married, bachelors and spinsters were left over, let's say, after Shrove Tuesday, well, on the following Sunday, there was a lot of sport. A lot of the young blackguards in the town would go around and they'd mark the bachelors or the spinsters with chalk on their back. put an X on their back, you see, to mark that they could mark sheep, or even with rattles sometimes, you know, so as to make sure that that they were marked out, that they must be the first in line for the next year, you see. And of course this was resented by bachelors and spinsters, naturally.
I can imagine.
And there was a lot of horseplay like that. And then there was this idea that in Ulster the following Sunday was called Puss Sunday. That is the Sunday after Lent began, that bachelors and spinsters went round with a puss on them, you see.
Because they were unhappy because they hadn't married.
Yes.
So they were puss up.
Or in Connacht they'd throw salt on them to keep them hale and hearty for the next year, so that they'd be pickled.
The salt would
made more
preserve.
more tasty for the future.
Pickling it, they keep them
And so this
fresh.
is this is Chalk Sunday, what you're talking about, where people would actually be daubed with chalk to mark them out.
The women, they wore black shawls, you see, and the white
Right,
chalk
stand out
looked
very
and
clear, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be marked for marriage.
And what does
Eligible.
What did you have a different name for, not Puss Sunday? What did you call it?
Well, now
where you
I
came
had
from?
to down Puss Sunday is down on a smut. Smut is a nose that turns up when the person is annoyed about something. It could be smut at you.
A smut.
And then before Lent, the Sunday before Lent, that was down on the Cogurney, the whispering Sunday. You'd see all the women with their shawls whispering about who they heard something that so and so would be getting married. Another thing was, when the girls did not have a fortune, when their people didn't have the fortune, they went over to America. And they spent maybe 7 or 8 years in America, and they put every halfpenny by until they had accumulated a fortune, and they came home and they married a farmer.
Well, in fair dues to them.